Your main man returns. By the time I post this, it'll probably be past Christmas, but Merry Christmas anyway, baby. All day, every way. I'm going to be talking about the classic play Book of the Plains, Mongoose Publishing. This is originally $34.95. It's for the 3.5 edition of Dungeons and Dragons. I got it for half price. This book is in brand new condition, really. It's fantastic. You probably would have a hard time finding a book in better shape than this one, and I got it for half price of the 34.95 at the local game store. We've between myself and my friend Nick have pretty much bought everything that's of any use out there. If you want fourth edition books, though, they have almost looks like the entire collection of fourth edition books sitting in their used section for half off, which is quite nice. For any books that you would want there. This book, as you can see here on the back, the Mongoose, I really like. As you can look behind me on the wall here, we got a lot of Mongoose books. We got almost the entire Slayer's Guide series. I don't have the ones that I think are goofy. I think the Amazon's book was goofy. I don't know why they needed a Slayer's Guide for that. Females gamers, I don't want to slay females gamers, so I don't understand what that's about. I don't know. It's just fucking stupid. Um, and kind of off-putting, I think. Like, I would prefer female gamers to be there, but not to be slaying. Slaying the Dungeon Master. Well, I'm not about that at all, because I'm usually the Dungeon Master. And that just looked kind of just hokey, like the female gamer Slayer's book. And the rules lawyers, like, you get out of here with that. I don't need that. Give me like good monsters, and that's gonna be cool. I like to see that. Unfortunately, I think there's two they printed for the Slayer's Guide: Krakens and Winter Wolves that aren't in physical copy. I even looked at Drive Through RPG. You can't. They don't have physical copies. Look at the Mongoose sites. You don't have physical copies. My son loves wolves. That's like his thing. Wolves, werewolves, and I wanted to get him that book. Of course, it'll be fantastic for the collection because again, we have all the rest of them. All of them. Uh, goblins, hobgoblins, or whatever. I even have the compendium. I have the arcane and the Slayer's compendium. Most of the arcane, maybe even all the arcane books. I'm not sure. There's a couple that just looked a little too goofy, or the rules were just too useless. The familiar one, I didn't. I don't have. I don't think I have. Maybe I have it. I don't know. The constructs, the crossbreeding book. I used to have it, and I think I've gotten rid of it. I didn't much care for that one, but I think Mongoose to me, and also a bunch of the quintessential books up there, which is another Mongoose product. I thought they did a really good job. There wasn't. I'm sure someone like, oh, this is a broken feat here or whatever, but they didn't seem that their prestige classes and feats were designed to be broken. I just got my plug in for the exterior light I have here. I don't know. I'm still messing around with it. I'm not Mr. Production Values over here. I don't work off scripts either, so it is what it is. Hopefully that illuminates well, or not doesn't over illuminate me. But this book is quite interesting. It has a large number of different planes. Looks like it's about 250 pages. You can see in here. And this is the sort of thing you could dump right into a Planescape game, and that's what I got it for, just to find weird things, obscure things, new sort of things. And I'm not going to go through all of these because some of them may be coming to a Planescape name near you if you're one of my 7 players. And it gives you some extra stuff here. So just kind of running through, you have information about going from the planes. And I read all that. It was just quite decent. Um, it has its own takes on the ethereal plane and the astral plane, so that's different. It's a different take on it and different supplemental information. If you want to run the ethereal, if you want to run the astral, those are obviously very, very good planes to be run. The plane of shadow, the plane of dreams. Then you have the plane of earth, air, fire, water. So there's going to be your elemental, your core elemental planes. In the last game that I ran, I did run the elemental plane of fire. We did the city of brass. I did Muspelheim, which I guess technically is a different plane, but I wanted to put it there, so there it was with the fire giants. And that was a really, really good scene. That was a really good game session. It was a one-on-one session inside of the deal. It has the plane of positive energy, the plane of negative energy. It has the vault of stars. And it has, let's see, the firmament, which I am Not a big fan of flurfs. Not a pro flat earther. So stuff like that, though, for game content, I think, or at least used to think that that kind of thing was wonderful. I have a very a negative view. I am very much a scientifically paradigm member of a supporter of the technocracy atheist. So I don't like that sort of thought being pushed out there. I'm not Jesse R. Johnson for the flat Earth, because if it ain't flat, it ain't truth. Although I do watch a lot of the debunking videos on it. Just things. For my line of work, I can be on like, oh god, maybe 5 to 6 hours a day listening to things on YouTube. So I get a lot of time to go through a lot of different topics, and you got to jump from thing to thing, or you start getting bored. Um, but uh, it's kind of interesting. So they have their own takes on heavens and hells. So the vault of stars and the firmament. They have the chasm, the infernum. They have the halls of order, the afterworld, the questing grounds, the nexus plane, the grand orrery of all reflected heavens, um, the warding in of the glorious toad, and they have the chasm, which from the description of it, is a bit weird. Like it's this huge, like basically like hole, and then there's like this gap, right? This gash, and inside of it, like there's these different kind of civilizations built up. Uh, but and some of them I'm going to try to not go too much into. It's not really a review of the book. I kind of want to talk about Mal. And Mal, I used. They have a city in there called Tortuga, which I was like, I almost just renamed it because that's that's a name that's gonna have a lot of association to pretty much any gamer. And this book was published late enough that I think the Pirates of the Caribbean movies were already well established. So Tortuga, I was like, so it's very that town is very piratey feel, but it played perfect because it's very chaotic evil, and I was able to put a lot of that into my game, bringing a lot of that strangeness. And it has this like sand, right? These dunes, but the dunes themselves are like these eggs, and they hatch out with beetles as you touch them, and it becomes a whole thing. It's very very interesting. Um, and I'm trying to give too many spoilers because there's lots of things that weren't explored there for my players. You never know; they might go back. There's just giant like chains and portals in the sky, and these huge like tombs that are this green resin material. And a lot of people there have taken the green resin material and really created from it and pulled out from it. So we're seeing weapons with this strange ancient material. Anyway, I really thought Mal was a very interesting realm, the sort of thing that you could bring into a Planescape game that's going to be surprising. It's going to be fresh. I mean, how many people have this book? I'm sure you'll say, "Oh, well, I have it on my shelf," but not very many players are going to have really dug into this and have read this. And I think when you can find books like that extol the planes, it can be very interesting. A lot of people are they're gonna be sick to death of Sigil if they've had any kind of planescaping of the cant and all that. And of course, I try to brush the game up with a bit of cant here and there, to add to it without beating it to death, right? Making it a bit more subtle. So it's a book that I particularly enjoyed. I thought was well written and interesting. Um, the artwork in it is decent. It's this black and white style art. It's fine. It's certainly serviceable. Also, I want to show you something. This was a birthday present from my friend Longer. It is a dice tower. And it's all the way around red. I think he got it off Etsy. It's Cthulhu. You can see it's quite large. Um, it's too fragile. I'm not going to risk it's going to get broken somewhat if I haul it around. Sometimes we play over here, but we haven't in quite some time. I had a kitchen renovation done, which took fucking forever. God, that guy was a piece of shit that did it. But he got it finished. It took 7 months to do my kitchen, literally, just over. But you can see the fingers how delicate they are. But look at all that detail. Look down there. Very, 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 very nice. Overall, though, I thought the book was very well written and interesting. It provides a different take on some of the classic planes, the elemental planes, there's planes of shadow, negativity, these sort of things. They can help liven it up. when you're running these sort of things, particularly if you have players that are reading a lot of the material, you want to hit them out of left field. You want to give them different stuff. There's a reason Gary Gygax said, "Hey, players, these books are not for you. Do not read them. You will not have them. You should not even buy them. I'm making money off this, but don't buy it." Then to that level of fanaticism, because he didn't want you to have those sort of things, because he didn't want you to destroy the imagination of the game master, particularly when they're more of a neophyte and really can't create their own things. They're grabbing what's from the system and trying to empower themselves and learn that way. But if you know you need to throw acid on a troll, and you've seen so many people like, I throw acid, why? Why are you throwing fire on that troll? You don't know that. You're carrying on nothing about trolls. Shut your ass up. But that's the way it goes. So players can tend to be very contemptuous of that which they know. But I think this book was an excellent addition to adding strangeness without doing a full, thorough review. And parts of it I don't want to dig into at all, because my players do watch these. But for those of you that are looking for a piece to add to your collection, I think this is a fantastic piece. If you're going to be using Planescape and you don't want to just pick up just Planescape books, and you want to look at things from the 3.5 edition. But trust me, this is very backwards compatible as well. Mostly it's just fluff, right? And the stat blocks, if you can adjudicate a 3rd edition stat block of a monster to a 2nd edition stat block, like, DMing might not be for you, right? Because it's not that hard, right? Look at what the special ability is, move the special ability over. Look at what the hit points are, bring them over, maybe make them slightly less. Look at the armor class, just rejigger it, maybe make it slightly worse, right? Because 3.5 has a much skewed power scale from 2nd edition. And you would just cut all the feats right off the bat. That'll help skew something's power level downwards, which in 80 it needs to be, unless you just want it to be significantly more powerful. If you bring something with the same hit points, same converted armor class, all of that over, it's significantly stronger, because those things don't convert at a 1-to-1 rate. They have to convert at a worse rate to make a correct approximation. But, however you want to do that. And it's full of interesting locations inside of the planes, towns, monsters, and has a different take on that sort of thing. There are a lot of good secrets in there. So something for a game master, for a dungeon master to advise. If you're going to be a player, honestly, these aren't for you. Don't read them. If you're not going to be running a game, don't read these books. You don't need a bookshelf like that if you're a player. Just buy the stuff that's for players. Buy your Complete Thieves book or whatever the equivalent are to, any particular edition. I don't know for 4th and 5th edition exactly what those analogs are, but don't buy that stuff. Leave it to be a mystery, because the players love a mystery. And when your game master doesn't have to do all the work for themselves, all right, not every game master can, right? That's not every game master's strength, and not every game master is as strong as every other game master, right? So when you make it easier for them, you might make it more fun for them. And when you make it more fun for them by not ruining the fun for yourself, it's like watching a movie, right? And then you're going to go to the movies with people. Well, why are you going to do that? Well, why just go with your buddies and watch it? Enjoy it together. You don't need to. Oh, actually, with this, I've seen the director's cut already. How you know all this? No, son. You don't need all that. Just get into it. Anyway, this has been your main man. And if I do get this up before Christmas, Merry Christmas, Barbarian Horde.